Hey guys, welcome to the Smokin' N Jokin show. My name is Beth King, also known as the Crayon Eater's wife.
My name is Lex Bonilla, also known as Men of Warrior 22, sometimes your local Jody.
And I'm
I'm
just
Greg
King,
Janney.
your resident Gimp. Thank you all for joining us. We got a great show planned for you tonight. For anybody who has joined us early, if you could please highlight in the comments, let people know we're out here putting on a show for you, passing on some good information about an amazing story and an amazing book. It'd be greatly appreciated. Tonight we've got Greg Janney with us. Greg, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, we're extremely glad to have you here. I know you've been on the show, I think, back when Demarcus Reed was the only host.
Yes, DeMarcus was the host. Yeah, it was a pleasure to talk to my buddy Reed, and good to see you guys again too.
Yeah. So brought you on tonight to once again talk about your book and your experiences going over to Ramadi as far as it goes. But before we get into that, give us a little bit of your backstory, as far as what you do, how you got into that type of correspondence as far as it goes and everything else.
I've been a photographer since high school. I was our high school newspaper photographer, and then in the late 80s, I started doing contract photography for the Department of Defense, primarily the 5th Ranger Training Battalion in Dahlonega, Georgia, and flew on my first Black Hawk there in the mountains of North Georgia. So that was cool. And then at some point, I started working as a contract photographer for the Forest Service. So I lived in a tent for 3 or 4 months a year for 16 years, and then got this great opportunity with Martha Zoller, a journalist in Gainesville, Georgia, asked me to be her photographer on a trip idea that she came up with, a mission to get Gold Star dad John Robleski to Ramadi, and this was in 2007. So she hired me as her photographer for that 2007 embed with Third ID, and we were trying to link up with the Marines in Ramadi, but unfortunately that did not happen. And then on the plane back, I don't know how I'll do it, but I'll get you there one day. So we'll go back. We'll make one more attempt because we got within 60 miles of Ramadi, where his son, Second Lieutenant Robleski, and 11 other men of 2-4 were killed on 6 April 2004.
I was getting ready to say, can we hear the significance for the people who don't know what April 6th is and of 2004?
Yes, ma'am. It was the beginning day of the 2004 Battle of Ramadi, and it was heavy combat between the 6th of April and the 10th of April 2004. During that deployment, as Jimmy knows, 2nd Battalion Marines lost 34 men in that 9-month deployment. And many of those guys were killed on the first day. 12 of them were killed on the 6th of April 2004.
I remember when we were at Walter Reed, they were saying that you guys had the most loss, unit with the most loss.
Yeah, for the info I've always been given, and from what I've looked up, I know we were surpassed at some point, but for quite a long time, Echo 24 held the unfortunate record, I guess you could say, of having the highest casualty rating, whether it be wounded and or killed, for a company-sized unit since the Vietnam War.
I have those stats as well, yes, sir. And a lot of that, this is my personal opinion. If you look at Fallujah, which was a smaller city, they had 3 to 5 battalions surrounding that city, and you guys in 2-4 had just your battalion to control a city that was much larger than Fallujah. And all the insurgents that were being surrounded in Fallujah just squirted out down the road and drifted west of Ramadi. And so
Yeah,
you guys
like
were
when one would
about to
heat
kick
up, then the other one
when
would heat up.
that
It kept
happened.
going back and forth.
Yeah. Sorry, brain farted there. Just, I guess, talking about it is making me go back. What was it? From beginning of March to about that first month, we had a couple of minor incidents, IED here or there. We found quite a few, as far as it goes, but then it was April 6th and April 10th that really kicked off the bigger portion of the fighting as far as it goes. And yeah, like, I mean, granted, I was hit May 29th of 04. I lost 4 that day. Myself and another were traumatically wounded. I took primarily traumatic injuries to the leg, and Allegra had a real bad TBI.
He had to learn to brush his teeth and everything all over again. I mean,
Yeah, I can't even
it was
imagine.
bad.
can't even
So you took this, and what was the father's name again? Sorry.
The Gold Star dad's name was John Robleski, and so after the failed 2007 trip, I contacted the commanding officer at 5th Ranger Training Battalion, and I said, "Who do I talk to at the Pentagon about doing an embed in Ramadi? Possibly link up with Third ID and then connect with the Marine unit in Ramadi." And he says, "Oh, call this lady at the Pentagon." He gave me her name and number and her email, and so I contacted her and I said, "Ma'am, I want to do an embed in Ramadi in the spring of next year, February and March of next year." And she sent me the paperwork. And basically, I listed John Robleski, this Gold Star dad, as my photography assistant. So I essentially used a little bit of subterfuge to get the DoD to agree to embed the two of us and get us to Ramadi for this mission that I had made up, that I had not really revealed to them at that point. I was going to write a story about the day in the life of Marine, which I did, but I didn't tell them that I was bringing a Gold Star dad to Ramadi to do a memorial service because I knew that they'd turn that request down.
Yeah.
So 14 months later, after raising the money to go to Ramadi, John and I to CPIC in Baghdad. Marine Public Affairs officer called me and said,
We're having a little bit of
Hold on,
technical
we're having some
difficulties.
technical difficulties hearing you.
Yeah, Tor was calling me for some reason. Anyway, when I got to CPIC, my public affairs officer in the Marine Corps, Master Sergeant Elbrock, said, "Get on the helicopter and I'll meet you in Fallujah. We'll do some stuff here." "Well, that's great, sir, but I've got to get to Ramadi." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I've got grid coordinates I'm trying to get to." And he said, "For what?" And I said, "Well, my assistant's really a Gold Star dad, and it's 10 other Marines and a Navy corpsman were killed on and around Route Gypsum on the 6th April 2004. And I'm trying to get this gentleman back there to do a memorial service for his son." And there's a long silence on the phone, and he says, "Wow, I don't know. Get on the helicopter. We'll talk about it when you get there." And so he passed it on to the command. Major General John Kelly got word of it, and at that point, he was the commander of MNF5 West. And he said, "If Janney has made it this far, I'll get him the rest of the way." And so Major General John
That's
Kelly
awesome.
personally, he and his PSD personally escorted John Robleski and I to the ambush site to do the memorial service March the 8th of 2008. So almost 4 years to the day that the ambush took place. And to my knowledge, it's the only time a Gold Star parent ever visited a combat site in Iraq.
No, I believe that. It's definitely something you don't hear about every day. And I don't know how every parent would feel about going to this, but and going to visit the site where their son or daughter lost their lives. How was that? What was that experience like being there? I can only imagine the feelings were just.
It was a very somber. I could tell that John was very proud of his son, but his voice was cracking with emotion as he read off the names of the 12 fallen 2-4 Marines and Navy corpsmen that were killed that day. But the other thing is, we spent a week, actually about 10 days there in Ramadi, and we did patrols every day with 2A.
Hey,
Embedded with 2nd Marine.
I apologize,
So
Greg.
he got to walk in his son's footsteps for,
Greg,
for a week. We did the same routes that you guys did: Gypsum, Nova, Apple, and then through the tank graveyard. So it was an immersive experience, and you get to see and smell. And
hey, Greg.
Yes.
I apologize. 1 second. we're having a hard time hearing you. It's coming in either with a lot of static and breaking up a bit, or really quiet. One or the other. For it kind of keeps bouncing back and forth as far as that goes.
Hey, Jimmy,
Yes.
why don't we have him log out, go back in while we pay the bills and do the
Yeah,
comments?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and go? I know the camera wasn't that great, but the story needs to be heard. So I want to be able to hear you. So let's go back to the
Laptop.
laptop.
And again, my apologies if it's on my
No, no,
no,
no,
no.
no. Hey, we joke around all the time that this podcast is held together by duct tape and prayers. So
Prayers never hurt. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Tell you what. Go ahead and log your phone out. Log back in on your laptop, and while you're gone, I'll do the quick commercials.
Very good.
Alrighty. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody. But thank you for joining us. I'll say once again, if you haven't already, if you could highlight in the comments, it'd be greatly appreciated. So for those of you,
right here.
for those of you who are avid coffee drinkers, head over to Arrow Resupply Coffee. They've got a great lineup of coffees, teas. They've even got some cool swag, sweatshirts and t-shirts and everything as far as that goes. But their coffee is amazing.
Yeah, Jimmy doesn't even drink
I
coffee. He
don't
likes it.
I don't drink coffee, and I've started drinking it now. If you use the promo code Smokin N Jokin 365 exclamation point, it'll get you a 20% discount. And a portion of the proceeds will actually help fund the show. So once again, get your morning caffeine on. Head over to Aerial Resupply Coffee, and I don't know, get your caffeine on. For those of you looking to start your own business, improve your business, sell your services to the government, start your own organization, head over to Artias at YESRTS.com. These guys are great. They break everything down Barney style. They'll hold your hand through the entire process. Make sure you get your mission accomplished and get everything done. Once again, that's YESRTS.com.
Do you have any comments, Terry?
Danielle Little, Matt DeFord, Leanne Buckley, Theo.
Hi, Leah.
Jamie High. Who else we got in here? Angela Hall.
We have
Tisha.
we have Angela watching. She's not running anyone over today.
Outstanding.
That's right. Our hit and run expert.
I thought we was going to give her the call sign of road rage.
There you go.
Lanny Abilama, Lance McLean.
Lance.
Hi everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. Sorry, I was trying to get through all the welcomes and highs and.
We can't hear you.
Mark said that that's your problem, Beth. You're not using bubble gum because you said held together with duct tape and prayers.
I need bubblegum added to it. Okay. I'm sure we'll try. All right. Now we
And Angela said she hasn't run over anyone today yet.
Today, yeah. Okay. Now the question is she still going to go out tonight? Because there is a possibility.
There's always a possibility.
Talking about being in Ramadi, I think we mentioned that it was kind of a hell, and Lanny Abilama said, "Better believe it. It was a shithole of a place." And that it was, in every sense of the word.
I don't think it improved. Just what was it? 4 years later.
It had not improved much, but I was not getting shot at every day either. There was not a lot of kinetic action that was going on. The only thing that was happening was suicide bombers and some sniping.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to, we didn't deal with combat every day and 12, 14, 15-mile foot patrols every day like you guys did.
Now, and Spanky joined us.
Hi, Spanky.
Welcome back, Spanky. Ain't seen you in a minute. Alrighty. Okay. Bills have been paid. Comments are caught up on. Let me figure out which mouse I'm supposed to be using. While you're talking, Greg, I figure I will go ahead and share a couple pictures that you had sent over to us.
Yeah.
You can tell us about it and who's in them and everything else as far as that goes.
I appreciate that, sir.
As soon as I get my camera to, or it's on the wrong one.
Yeah, that's the raw video of the memorial service. It's the sound is worse than the issues you're having with me.
Then what we're having tonight?
But that did okay. There you go. That's John Robleski, the Gold Star dad, there on the left, and that's a T-shirt that his sons made in honor of JT that he brought from the States and hung on the wall there, just right off of Route Gypsum. And then of course that gentleman on the right is Major General John Kelly, who was the commander in chief of MNFI West at that point. And John is thanking him basically for for getting us there and keeping us safe in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very interesting story here. This is Corporal Jonathan Yale, and he was with 2-8 Marines, and he was stationed at the JSS where John and I stayed most of the time that we were in Ramadi. We stayed at this joint security station, which was just across MSR, Michigan from Combat Outpost. It was just inside the arches, a big Iraqi house that had HESCO bastions around it. And this young man was mine and John Robleski's driver. He drove the Humvee to the point where we deployed and started our foot patrols. Very interesting young man. But 3 weeks after we left Ramadi, Jonathan Yale, Corporal Yale, and Lance Corporal Jordan Harder were standing guard at that JSS, and a suicide truck bomber rammed through the serpentine barrier. And Corporal Yale, that gentleman that's on the screen there, and Lance Corporal Harder stood there at the gate, firing their M16s as fast as they could fire, and until the truck detonated. So they saved their brothers and the 100 Iraqi army guys that were stationed there at that JSS, but they lost their lives in the process. And now Major General Kelly gave a speech right after that called 6 Seconds to Eternity, or 6 Seconds to Live. And that speech is now read to every Marine Corps recruit that comes through either Parris Island or Pendleton, about the bravery of those two young men. And he did some investigation, found some video that verified the story that the Iraqi army told, that when those guys ran away from their post, leaving the two Marines there, and they were posthumously awarded the Navy Cross.
Was it 6 Seconds to Live? I believe you had shared that video with us.
Yes, sir.
The YouTube video is showing it being like 11 minutes. That's
It's
long to play live on the air tonight, but we will make sure that it gets posted in the comments for anybody who wants to.
And I appreciate that. It's just the raw video of the memorial service that Lance Corporal Angel from 2-8 shot the day of the memorial service. And that aired on Fox News, and BYU picked it up and did a piece on it right after we got back on Memorial Day of 2008. But Harder, like I said, he was an interesting young man. I asked him, how was he enjoying SASO operations? And he started laughing, and he says, well, sir, we're used to, combat and blowing things up. So it's something we're getting used to. So it was a pretty interesting day that I spent with that young man.
I was trying to find the.
He was looking for the YouTube video to post. So how you said you spent a week there?
We were actually in country about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we were in Ramadi about 10 days of that 3 weeks.
Okay.
And that's when we were doing the foot patrols with 2-8 every day.
And you were talking about when he was doing his memorial. Could you repeat that again? Because you were kind of cutting out.
Oh, sure. So John, read the names of the fallen, of the 12 guys that fell in combat on 6 April. And, his voice cracking with emotion, said the final name on the list was, and my hero, Second Lieutenant JT, John Thomas Robleski. And I don't know if I'll ever be the man that he was, but I, can certainly try to aspire to be the hero that he was. And it was really interesting when we left the alley. The gentleman that owned the house behind which we were conducting the memorial service, came out and greeted us. And through General Kelly's interpreter, he said that he had sons that had been killed in that battle. So the 2-4
Wow.
killed some of his sons, and so he exchanged his deepest condolences with John Robleski at the loss of his son JT. And John, of course, was sorry, extended his condolences on the loss of his son. So it was a healing moment, to the extent.
I can see it's such a healing moment, but it's such a. I don't think these moments happen often where you have somebody who, especially in war, because it's not a personal situation, it's war, and fathers from both sides come together. Um, so, I commend the father for coming out, having the courage to come out and share his condolences. Like that shows a lot about that person.
I mean, I thought it was important enough to take pictures of the event, and Corporal Angel actually videoed some of it. So most of that is on that video that Jimmy was going to share, the raw video that Corporal Angel shot.
Awesome. Now okay, so you wrote the book, and can we talk about what you're doing with the proceeds now? Because I think that's amazing as well.
Well,
Yeah. So
Oh,
one
Go ahead,
sec. My apologies. Just going back before we get too far. At sorry, it was rereading. The comment Lanny Abalama had made about Ramadi being hell. He said that place is a shithole. Theo had asked him if he was talking about Alabama or Ramadi, and
is there a difference?
and then Lance McElhaney said both.
yeah, there's a big difference though. I've photographed all the national forests in Alabama. I'd much rather be in Alabama than Ramadi again.
Absolutely.
Well, Theo said that he thought SASO stood for sexy attire, sexy outfits.
Well, he's the only one I know that can pull that off. You certainly
Right.
wouldn't want to see me in silkies, that's for sure.
Have you seen some of Theo's thirst trap pictures he's been posting lately?
Listen, Theo. I mean,
Me and Faye
do you,
Fredericson,
Theo?
thank you for watching. She said that she said miss you, Tor. So Tor's got some fans.
I'm one of them. I'm not even gonna lie.
Listen, I got silkies on right now.
All right.
You. You're always in silkies.
That's
See, your
right.
shirt says somebody's daddy. I can't read the middle part.
Somebody's fine ass
Oh,
daddy.
there you go. Right on. Well,
Lance McElhaney thought SASO stood for super awesome sissies outside. Theo said that's why I always stayed outside. Jamie High says she
Theo
owns a
said
copy of
it's
the
almost
book.
Christmas.
Yes, I have to definitely get a copy of the book.
so basically, as far as the book goes, I was just going to write a book called A Father's Journey to Iraq, about mine and John's failed 2007 attempt and then the successful 2007 mission. But I needed to interview some of the other Gold Star parents. So in the process of doing that, I was contacted by several 2-4 Marines that said, look, you need to interview us and tell about what we experienced during the battle where we lost these 34 guys. And I said, well, that's great, but I need to interview a lot of you. I couldn't just interview 1 or 2 people. It needs to be, a good number. So over 12 years, it took me 12 years to gain the trust of these guys.
Wow.
Well enough for them to understand that I didn't intend to profit off of their brothers' deaths, that they opened up and shared their combat stories with me. And so the book, The Magnificent Bastards in Ramadi and the Father's Journey, there is 46 of your 2-4 brothers, Jimmy, that have sat down with me for an hour to 3 hours and have told me what they experienced coming into the country, why they joined the Marine Corps, coming into Iraq, and then, the events of the Battle of Ramadi, and then, through the end of their deployment. So they've shared all of those stories in this book. And that's another reason why I felt it was important not to profit from the book. And so what I decided to do, because 90% of the book is made up of the Marines of 2-4 that are telling their combat stories, we set up this 501c3, the Second to None Scholarship, Marine Scholarship Inc., that takes 100% of the profits from the sales of this book and puts them in a bank account. And when we get enough money accumulated, then we award a scholarship to one of the 2-4 Gold Star families. And so we're about to present our first check. We'd raised $1,500 in book sale profits. And one of your 2-4 brothers, Jimmy, a gentleman to be unnamed at this point, has graciously donated another $1,000 to the scholarship fund. So today I mailed a check for $2,500 to one of the 2-4 Gold Star
Now,
families.
can you tell us the recipients, the parent or the father that I know we can't mention the child's name on here.
I haven't announced it yet, but if you would like to have the scoop, I would be delighted.
I would love the scoop.
Okay. The recipient, and let me back up a little bit. The recipient of the scholarship is determined by Bob Gibson and an advisory committee that he's put together. So I don't have a hand in selecting the family, because I know a lot of these families, and to keep any favoritism out, Bob Gibson and his advisory committee selects the family. So the 2025 recipient of the Second to None Marine Scholarship is going to be Isaac Carman, who is the nephew of Carman that was killed on 6th April 2004, going to the rescue of Headhunter 2 sniper team that was pinned down on Route Nova.
You know, this touches our heart. One of the guys that Jimmy lost on May 29th, 2004, had literally just gotten the call the day before that his wife was pregnant. And then he passed. So this has been, that's, if you ask me what has caused PTSD for Jimmy, I'm lucky, and he's lucky that he doesn't remember the actual incident. But he has nightmares, and he was also lucky that he doesn't remember those nightmares. But I am fully aware of them. I've been attacked a few times. I've learned to just stay away. But when I was pregnant with our first son, Jimmy felt like he stole someone's life. Jimmy never planned on having kids, and actually had cancer before, and was told he couldn't have kids. We were told we couldn't have children. So when we found out we were pregnant with our first child, that was something he really struggled with, and has wanted to reach out to that family. And so when I heard that you were doing this, at first when we were talking, I wasn't sure if you were awarding a scholarship for somebody else to do this, to go to Ramadi, and you corrected me and said no, it's for educational for the kids. It really hit my heart, because that is something that, you know, has haunted Jimmy for 20 years.
As well it would. I mean, and several of the other guys were in similar circumstances. Eric Aon, who was killed, I want to say on the 10th of April, he had just found out his wife was pregnant, so he never got to see his child. So that, you know, it's just a terrible, unfortunate thing about war that happens and families get destroyed like that.
One of the things, you know, also because we deal with a lot of the 22 a day, and the best way we can remember these people is taking something from them and carrying it on. If it's something we admired about the fact that they reached out regularly, we've tried to start doing that, to carry on that legacy in a way. And that's been very healing for us. Now, of course, I wasn't in Iraq. I actually didn't meet Jimmy until he was in Walter Reed. So my heart goes out to wives who were at home when their husbands were getting phone calls, or every time that phone rang, scared to pick it up, when you know your husband's in war. I really try to empathize and think about that, and know that I'm lucky in the sense that that wasn't a part of our story, because I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't. And then to have a child after after you've lost your husband, it's just heartbreaking. And I love that you're doing this. I love that you've told their story in a way that people can connect with them, and understand what they've been through. I do. At first, when you said it took 12 years to get, you know, to get their trust, I was like, really, that is that long? But then I thought about Jimmy telling me if they
Oh,
obviously
you
didn't
know,
trust people,
the
then they
Marine
wouldn't work
Corps,
there.
it's a brotherhood, and I'm not part of that. So I had
Yeah,
to explain to them where I was coming from. And I promised each of these guys individually, I said, look, I don't want to profit a penny off this book. I just want you to tell your stories. And in doing so, it'll help the families of your brothers that didn't come home.
it does.
Well,
It
it's
helps
a
healing, and hopefully, it's healing for them. Oh, sorry. Go
it,
ahead, Lex.
it's a which is interesting, right? Because November is Men's Mental Health Month. So talking about this, you know, especially with the Marine Corps, right? We're trained to run into that fire, right? Move, shoot, communicate, do all this high speed stuff, but they don't teach you how to slow down, right? They teach you how to be a machine, but they don't teach you how to be soft. They don't teach you it's okay, right? It's so then you take the Marines and you take however, back in the days how most of us were raised, right? Men don't cry, men don't. So that's all you know. So trying to get someone to open up, unless you shed blood in the same mud, and even still, they're just going to say they're okay because it's much easier to say that and dismiss what's actually going on, right?
Sure.
I think it's also amazing with what you did and talking about it today because for some of us, I deployed 6 times and getting injured, and now I have a son who is in the military doing the same thing, right? So we think
Wow.
about those things, and we take some of these stories and we share them. Um, so we get to see it from different sides. I find it very interesting, and your story and sharing these stories is actually it's serving a bigger purpose than you really understand, right? Because by showing
Mhm.
these Marines, showing Major General Kelly, showing all these guys that are, stone cold killers out there, and they're sharing their stories, it's allowing other people to read it and heal that way, even if they don't say it out loud. So I really appreciate that. I think that's amazing what you guys are doing.
And
Yeah,
the other
and
thing
Lex.
that's pretty cool too, Lex, is that a lot of these guys talked about their mental health issues and ways that they found that worked for them. So not every Marine opened up about that, but quite a few guys did that had a success with a certain type of treatment. Uh, One of the guys said that he went through the magnetic brain stimulation, and this I guess it's supposed to stimulate the prefrontal cortex to rebuild all those neural connections that PTSD and
And
TBI might
TBI.
have. And
Mhm.
so he said that that saved his life. He went through a lot of other therapies that worked for other people, but they did not work for him, and he said that that saved his life. So
But that's all it takes, right? All it takes is one person.
one thing, right?
So I've been to I can honestly say that I've probably been to about 30 retreats, all different kind. I've been to a lot of retreats for myself and as a mentor, and I will tell you that even for myself, the first 3 retreats I didn't say a word, but it wasn't until I heard the guy next to me share something that I was like, holy shit, I'm not the only one going through this. And even if I didn't speak about it, I still somewhat I understood in that moment I'm
Sure.
not alone. And that's all it takes. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's on their own different healing journey. So some might be more vocal about it, but it doesn't mean they're not taking something from it. They
Yeah.
might reach out later and offline have that conversation. So
Real
And
quick,
several of the guys said just telling their story was cathartic. That they had been encouraged by their therapist to share their stories, and that that was another reason they wanted to talk to me was to get their story out there.
Lex, you had mentioned it was Men's Mental Health Month, which it's also Military Family Month. So presenting this book is like on our show is perfect time. Not only are we talking about mental health for our veterans, but as well, um, you know, Military Family Month and giving a scholarship to. Sorry.
Benjamin Carmen, yes, Benjamin Carmen's
No,
honor.
he kept looking at me like, "Stop talking."
I was just waiting to you.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was just trying to say hi because Robert Thomas Cole came in
Hey,
and
Robert.
said hi. Robert, yes, come in. We might see about trying to bring in next week when we don't have a guest. We don't have a guest.
Ask me later.
Next time we don't have a guest and it's just us hosts, we will see about bringing in some of the audience members, just to chat and bring you on the show.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that.
He did say that he's a U.S. Army Cavalry OIF 5, 6, 7 battles gone. Theo had said that Aeon, when we was talking about Aeon being killed, Aeon was actually killed right in front of Theo.
Oh, I had forgotten about Tor being there.
That's rough.
At that
Chris
same
Leto,
intersection,
Chris
Gypsum
Leto
and
said hi. She said, and then said she's a Navy vet, and also said I have dozens of combat veteran friends who have a tough time talking about anything.
Yeah.
And it's the unfortunate aspect is a lot of us do have a hard time. I, well, if you get me started talking, I a lot of times won't shut up. I'll tell you, you ask, what's it like being in combat, and I tell you my entire life story. So,
Yeah, Jimmy actually does talk, believe it or not, guys.
Leanne Buckley said it's much easier to say I'm fine.
Absolutely.
Theo said we need to get local strip clubs to do a retreat for combat vets. Theo, you should contact a strip club, as Artias and pitch that to him.
One of the things like I wanted to say about what Lex said, going on a retreat. I had the pleasure of going on an all-female veteran retreat, and as a facilitator. And he's right. There was a girl there who really didn't say much of anything. She was very sweet, very nice. And it wasn't until the last day that she really opened up. And it was like I started making all the pin marks of her story wasn't far off from other people, and they sparked her to be able to express something that was very, very difficult. And she was able to do it, and she was comfortable enough. And I'm glad to get to know her more and build a community. But I think that's important is as veterans, generally you guys isolate. And we need to stop doing that. We need to get together. We need to talk. Even if it's not talking about real stuff, like if we don't have to go deep and dirty every time. It's veterans talk and veterans talking. Jimmy's still talking to me, looking at me like I'm still.
No, I'm just sorry. I was just laughing because I was pre-reading some comments, and when I went back to actually, I can't read and listen. So when I went back to listening, the first comment I hear is, "It doesn't have to be deep and dirty every time." I'm thinking, yeah, it does.
Beth, maybe he's looking at you that way because he's falling in love with you all over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that was true either. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's true. I've got a head injury, so I forget who she is, and then I fall in love with her, and then I forget who she is, and then I fall in love with her.
There you go. No, Beth. Honestly, I think with like, especially we're coming up on, we have the Marine Corps birthday, we have Veterans Day, and all this stuff. And one thing that we should look at and consider, right? We always talk about check on each other, right? And this more than anything, right? You see everyone changing their profile pics, and everyone's all hoorah and everything, and that's great. Listen, celebrate it. But I pay attention, and I'm trying to pay attention more to those who aren't posting, those who are a little more silent, right? Because it's Veterans Day, but a lot of us still have survivor's guilt, right? Where a lot of us are going to kind of close ourselves in. So it's important that we recognize
I challenge
those.
everybody to reach out to 5 people.
I think that's a great idea.
See how they're doing.
Doc Grimes in the book had talked about, and he's also done another podcast dealing with the mental health issues. And he said, the one thing regarding survivor's guilt is never what if. You can what if all day, but it doesn't change what happened, and it just destroys you mentally. So
this is true.
Never what if. Never try to second guess what happened. What happened, and you can't go back and change that. So I thought that was, from an outsider, I thought those were important words to say.
Looking at the time, we're going to take a quick pause. I'm going to pay the bills one more time, and I'm probably going to have to combine 2 of them. And then while I'm talking, if anybody in the audience has any questions for Greg, please feel free to put them in the comments. We'll ask Greg, and he can give you the answers. So put your minds to work and give them some questions. As far as paying the bills, for those of you who enjoy drinking coffee, head over to Arrow Resupply Coffee. Uh, I'm slow on the move here, so I won't try and reach for the mouse and pull the QR code up. But head over to Area Resupply Coffee. They've got a great lineup of coffees
We're
and
drinking
teas.
Firewatch right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I would definitely recommend Firewatch. It's a great coffee. Don't Not the action, the coffee. Nobody wants to go back to Firewatch. But the coffee is really good.
It's a
It,
it's a veteran business.
it's a U.S. Army vet in Virginia built a company from the ground up, and they've got subscriptions, so you can set that up, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. If you use the Smokin or the promo code Smokin N Jokin 365 exclamation point, it'll get you 20% off, and a portion of the proceeds from those sales will help fund the show. For those of you who also want to support the show, head over to vets365.org. Click on donate. They've got a drop down button. You can select what you'd like to donate to, whether it be the business side, helping the homeless veterans side, or supporting the show. More support we can get, the quicker we'll be able to grow, get onto Spotify and Apple iTunes and all that. And it'll help cover some of the costs of the equipment and software and everything else that's being used. For those who are wanting to do all the same stuff that RTS has to offer with improving your business or selling your services to the government, starting your own organization, you can go to vets365.org, get on their calendar, and they will offer all the same services that RTS has to offer, but for service disabled veterans, they do it at a 50% discount. Those of you who enjoy our particular brand of humor, head over to Crown Reader's Wife 1775 on Facebook. We believe in healing through laughter, so your military humor, you're dark, you're inappropriate, you're explicit. You will find on our page, our goal is to make you spit your coffee out in the morning, unless it's Arrow Resupply coffee, then don't spit that out.
Yeah, don't spit that out.
If we can put a smile on your face, keep you from going to those dark places and become part of the 22, then, we've accomplished our mission. Check out our shop on CW1775.org. We got some great t-shirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, ball caps, trucker hats. We got a cool looking little flask over there as well. And some more gear coming soon. And for those of you who want to spark conversations on breaking the stigma of mental health issues and PTSD, head over to Etsy and look up Mental Warrior 22. Lex and his Broke Bestie have got some great designs over there. Well, really,
It's the Broke Bestie. It's
his
not
Broke
Lex.
Bestie.
Facts.
We all love Broke Bestie. I mean, Lex is cool, but we all love Broke Bestie.
Also facts.
But show them some love and support over on Etsy at Mental Warrior 22. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I wanted to say something like you said, noticing the people who aren't posting. If for people who don't know, Lex, Jimmy, and I, obviously Jimmy and I, but Lex is also on our admin team, and that's the one thing I do love about our team is we know when people aren't posting. We know when our regulars have disappeared, and we always go and try to check on them. But let's not get it to that point. Let's not wait till they're not posting, and let's. I want to challenge ourselves and our listeners to contact 5 people a week. Just reach out to 5 people that you normally wouldn't reach out to and say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Absolutely. And these guys that I interviewed have my number. I would rather somebody call me at 3 o'clock in the morning than to get bad news.
Absolutely.
So please call me.
Jimmy says that exact same thing, in the exact same time.
Yep.
I know I'm a pogue, but I'm a good listener. So call me if you want.
Trish said, going back to, I guess, actually commented on the commercials. So she said, if you don't like coffee, you're an un-American.
But they have tea too.
Beth put in the promo code and she said she loved it.
Beth, we threw the tea in the river. Just so
Danielle Little said that she agreed to 10,000%. Lance McElhaney said, "I'd like to know how they afford to pay the host the millions of dollars they pay them."
They talking about us?
Apparently.
Could you send me that bank account information, please?
Yeah, Lance. I forgot my bank account number. Can you give it to me, please? Mark
Apparently, I'm
Ewers-
getting paid in pesos.
Right.
Mark
I
Ewers
love
said
that guy. Lance is awesome.
You're a DEI hire. Don't worry.
we're all DI. Mark Ewers said I literally do security at a hotel that is being renovated and the fire alarm system is offline, so I'm standing fire watch. Get you some fire watch coffee, keep you awake. Danielle Little said he is broke. His broke Bessie is the boss.
Yes, very much so. She is.
Theo said, Greg, what is Ramadi like now?
I have not been back since 2008, so I need to
Yes.
research that and find out. But I've got the email of the sheikh that we visited with a couple of sheikhs while we were there. So I need to send those guys an email, see if they're even still around.
Alrighty. Give me
All
just a
right.
second here. I got to top off. Theo said that whiskey is his favorite coffee flavor, so I figured I'd drink to that.
Listen, you can put that in your coffee.
Lex, can you do the bad news advice?
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, bad news advice number 1. I want to write a book about AI taking over people's jobs. Should I use AI to write the book? If yes, how?
GPT, there you go.
If no, why not?
Yeah,
bad advice.
This
I
is
think-
bad advice.
I think that's bad advice. Yes, I would definitely. The bad advice would be to go right ahead and use Chat GPT to write your book, and then we'll all read it and say that book is terrible because it was written by Chat GPT.
I find this funny because the bad advice, I want to write a book about AI taking over people's jobs. Is AI code for us DEI hires?
Right. It's getting ready to take your job. I mean, AI is like taking over in everything right now.
You know?
I'm going to say skip the AI and write the book out in crayon. When people want to buy a book, you have to rewrite it every time.
That's definitely bad advice.
But they'll appreciate the
authenticity.
They'll appreciate the I was going to say the handwritten authenticity of it.
If it's a Marine, how are you going to keep them from eating the crayons, Jimmy? Is what I want to know.
You gotta make the book, and whatever you do has to be pop-up. It distracts the Marine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I like that one.
I like that one too.
That's good. I haven't seen a good pop-up book in a while. I miss those.
That's because everything kids use now is all electronic. So
Yeah.
Lance
If you get a
McElhenney
car that has
Lance
a pop-up in it, they're $10. So I mean, who wants to pay that?
Lance McElhenney said, if you support Skynet, then go ahead.
That's right.
Little Terminator reference. Leanne Buckley said, bad advice. Go full misery and chain someone to the bed and write it for you. Or have them write it for you.
There you go, girl.
listen, that's how I write my papers. That's it. That's the inspiration. Tie me up.
When John Robleski and I went back to Iraq in 2008, I was actually on spring break. I'd gone back to college to finish my bachelor's to get a teaching certificate. And so when I got back from spring break, I was a little late coming back. All the young students were all excited about what they had done for spring break. When they asked me, I said, well, I went to Ramadi in Fallujah. And they're like, where is that? I said, Iraq. And they didn't, some of them were like, why? What did you? Oh, we went to Florida. It was so much fun.
Right.
Danielle Little said, put lots of pictures. Leanne Buckley said, or what she had given the bad advice about misery as far as it goes. Theo said, Leanne Buckley, this wins bad advice. Angela Hall Cook said, I don't know how to hit Chat GPT with a car, so I'm out. Take your laptop out and put it underneath the tire.
Right. Or phone.
All right,
Theo
bad
said,
news advice number 2. My father-in-law and I are both in the same National Guard unit, but I am an officer and he is enlisted. His daughter and I got in an argument right before we deployed. I now have to give her father a fitness report. What should I do? I think that while you're
Not something to
deployed, you give him a failure to adapt and send his overweight ass home to his
do.
daughter.
Yeah. Welcome.
That's it. That's my
I don't
bad
know.
advice.
Wow. I don't know. She might like that. Then her dad's home safe.
Listen, you get both of them out of my face.
oh my
I know I had a young college age girl crying about her dad deploying to Iraq, and all I could do was lie to her and tell her that he would probably be okay.
I mean, what do you say?
I mean, that's what you could say. It's like, well, I just got back from there. He's probably going to be okay. I mean, if he's stationed at one of these big forward operating bases, he'll probably be okay. So you just have to encourage folks.
Yeah. But that's good advice. All right. Do we have any save our soul questions?
I think we're just going to remain sinners.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen,
First time.
I don't know about I don't know much about the National Guard other than I know that when I was up for reenlistment and at one point I was trying to cross over to the dark side and be an officer, I joined the Guard, right? I got out in between service and I joined the
How
Guard.
many branches have you been in?
Listen, the Marine Corps, I got out and then crossed into the Army.
Right.
After my second enlistment, I got out. For a brief moment, I went into the Guard in North Carolina, and and I'm gonna tell you that was the worst experience because that was the first time I experienced. I had a drill sergeant mentality, hard charging. Now my PFC, I didn't know during the week was the boss of the sergeant major and the first sergeant. So they all knew each other by first name basis, and I couldn't deal with that shit. So 2 months in, I immediately put into comeback active duty. I couldn't deal with it. I was like,
oh
no.
wow.
So
I was like, when you said the National Guard, I was like, wait, what? This is new.
listen, I'm old.
Knew about you all the time, Leg.
Beth, I'm old. Don't let this fool you. It's the Goya that keeps.
It's the hat because it's covering up your soul patch.
That's what it is.
He's doing like what's his name in the last Bad Boys movie? He's dyeing his beard.
Now I like the little soul patch.
As far as the last bad news advice, Lance McElhenney said, "Fake your own death." Leanne Buckley said,
"Hit him with a car." Oh, no,
Leanne Buckley said, "Call him daddy," and said, "Report. It will go over well." Theo said, "Tell your father-in-law the fitness report stands for fitness my foot in your ass." Drew said that's solid advice.
I like hit him with the car.
Yeah.
Danielle Little said no. Jimmy said nope. He's driving the bus. Tell your spouse that your father-in-law got busted down to private for raising such a pathetic soul.
All right, we have a few minutes left. So does anyone in the audience have any questions they would like to ask Greg before our time is up? Please feel free to ask.
Hey Greg, could you just one more time while we're waiting for any questions, tell us about your scholarship, and when is it going to be awarded?
The check was sent out express mail today to
Wow.
this young man. Yeah, so I would hold up the check, but then everybody would hack my bank account. I've got to fill it out in a
That's
file. But
awesome. Is there
you
any
know,
type of presentation or anything, or did y'all just mail the check out?
yes, we're gonna do a Zoom call, and I'll present the check. You know,
Do
um,
you know what he's planning on doing? Is he for college? Is it specialty school or
no, he this is his first year at college, and the
okay?
timing is not quite right semester wise, but this is his first semester of college that he's in, and so he's using this to further his education. And again, it's
Yeah.
$1,500 of profits that were generated from book sales, and
No,
then
that's awesome.
one of the 2 Marines that went to the School of Infantry with Benjamin Carmen felt compelled to do something to help the family, so he donated $1,000 to the Second to None Marine
That's
Scholarship.
That is
that's
amazing.
amazing.
Yes, and so now that we're a 501c3, I can legitimately give him a tax deductible receipt for that gracious, oh so generous donation of $1,000.
Well, if everybody could scan that QR code, go check the book out. I've already done it. I've got to wait till payday to order it. Sorry, but I've got it in my basket for. I think it's Amazon, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in our Amazon basket. So everybody, check it out. Support. Like you said, all the proceeds go to will be also awarded another scholarship to another Gold Star family.
Yes, like I said, we've got 33 more families to do something for. So, the more support, the better. And, I'm not asking you to send any money, just buy a copy of the book and then I'll handle the rest.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
Leanne Buckley had asked, how different is Ramadi now? And then also said better, worse, question marks on both.
I mean, it was much better in 2008 when I was there. The awakening had occurred. So the
Wow.
Ramadi, citizens got tired of their wives and children being blown up by foreign fighters. So, they basically formed little militias and kicked all those guys out. So that's why there was no kinetic events that took place while we were there. The only thing that they were having problems with were still, suicide bombers, IEDs, and occasional sniper attacks. So even in 2008, it was a lot better. And of course, since then, ISIS went through
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna
And
say I almost want to say it's worse
yeah,
now.
well, those guys are gone now, theoretically. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out what it's like. The other author, Greg Zororia, that wrote the book Unremitting, I think he was in Ramadi more recently, within the last 7 or 8 years. I'm not exactly sure of the time frame, so he might have a better idea about current events there.
Talking about the scholarship and the check being mailed out and everything, Trish Leto said that's fantastic. Lance McElhaney replying to Leanne Buckley said, I assume that instead of smelling like shit, now it smells like shit.
Yeah.
Danielle Little.
I do remember that quite vividly. That and the smell of diesel generators running all the time. That was
He has no sense of smell anymore. That was
wow.
one of the things.
Probably because of Ramadi, but
yeah.
Hey, listen,
Behind
Greg.
a diesel truck, and I am right back there. It's weird.
Hey, Greg, we should have opened this up with for everyone who buys a book. Listen, I'm gonna go to your house in Silkies and I'll clean up, right?
Wow. Okay.
We're gonna offer incentives. Let's make this happen. Let's make this book sell. Let's go.
All right.
That's right. I appreciate it, guys.
Danielle Little said, thank you all for another great show. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Tisha Tucker said, amazing, heartfelt show. Thank you guys. Love y'all. Love you too, Tisha. Angela Hall Cook said, great show as always. Thanks for doing this. Love you guys. And Buckley said, awesome show, y'all. And Theo, in response to Lance McElhaney, we used to say, this patrol has been sponsored by the letter S for shit.
Yeah, those weren't slit trenches in Ramadi, were they?
I'm sorry?
I said those were not slit trenches in Ramadi.
Nope. All right, guys. We have reached our hour mark, though, so unfortunately, we do have to
guys
get off
got so
here. Greg,
fast.
we will definitely have to have you back. It was a great show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for writing the book, and thank you for everything that you're doing for all the families.
I really
It,
appreciate the support. Like I said, it's an
it truly
honor.
does touch my heart.
And
It's an
it's
honor to do
also,
it. I
like
really
Greg
appreciate
said,
the opportunity.
Greg said he's a photographer. He's not just a photographer. He's an amazing photographer. I really loved the pictures I've seen that you've taken. That it's just really, you can. It's almost like you feel like you're there.
Well, thank you. I love what I do. It's not work if you enjoy it.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you next week. Night.
Join us